How can I then change myself to change the perception I'm having of the people around me, and specifically the ones I'm having quote-unquote negative experiences with?
All right. First of all, you start by not labeling anything in your reality as negative, because if you do, all you're doing is agreeing with them and perpetuating that idea for yourself, are you not?
Yes.
Well, then if someone does something that you perceive as happening in your reality or is directed at you, knowing what we just said in that you are creating your version of them, you must be somewhere within your own consciousness in agreement with that idea in order to perceive it that way. Now, we understand you have the ability to observe in a neutral sense, in an objective sense, so to speak, that someone can be being negative even if you're not. But the point is you don't take it to heart if you know it has nothing to do with you. The only reason you would feel affected by it is if you agree that it does. You see?
Okay, well, I want to take it once.
Oh, one moment. Not done yet.
Okay.
Want to illustrate a little point, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
All right. Now, if you were wearing something blue and someone came up to you and said, I hate red, and I hate what you're wearing, you go, what? That makes no sense. Oh, it must have nothing to do with me. Oh, you must be crazy. You must be talking about someone else. You wouldn't be affected by it because it wouldn't make sense to you. You understand?
Yes.
You would have no real emotional reaction to it. The idea, therefore, is that when you feel the emotional reaction of someone's supposed attack, what you're doing is getting them, your version of them, to reflect to you that some portion of yourself feels that way about yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't react. You would just observe it. Oh, interesting. And move on with your day. But if you react to it, it's showing you, hey, some part of you actually is buying into this as true. So what do you want to do about it? So you say, well, thank you. Thank you for showing that I was not loving all of myself. And when you really start doing that, then you may start to see that someone else's attitude toward you may change, because what you've done is you've changed your version of them in your reality to be more reflective of the fact that you're now loving yourself more wholly. Make sense? The real being may still be going off and insulting everybody, but the only version of them you'll get is the version you've created that is now reflective of the love you're willing to give to yourself, that you weren't willing to give to yourself before. Is this starting to make sense? Do you see what kind of a shadow play this is?
Yes, it's very subtle, especially if you're in the room with somebody.
Yes.
And you're not...
Especially if you imagine you're in the room with somebody.
Remember,
it's not real. It's not real. It's your reality experience. It's not empirically real. It's just a symbol of the reality you are creating yourself to be, of your experience of yourself. So just because it looks like someone else is in the room with you, they're not. They're in their own room, maybe with their version of you. So the question is, what do you prefer to be going on in your room? Because you're the only one in it. Regardless of what it looks like, you're the only one in it. Are you familiar with what you call a fictional drama on your planet called Star Trek?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the device that they call the holodeck?
Yes.
Are you understanding that all of the other people are just holograms?
I understand that intellectually.
I just love that line. It is, no offense, no judgment, it's the ultimate cop-out.
It is.
I understand it intellectually is actually another way of saying I'm not sure I want to get too close to really knowing what you're saying here. It's pushing the idea away. Because you actually do know exactly what I'm saying. Deep in your heart, deep in your soul. It's just that you've been taught to be afraid to look at it. too closely.
Afraid to look at the concept or the actual experience of
Yes,
holograms?
because you see, this is what you're dealing with. This is what most of you deal with when you're in this kind of situation. You're afraid to look too closely at dealing with this because what you've been taught to fear is that what you think these other people are saying about you might actually be true. And oh no, how horrible would that be? You follow me? If you look too deeply, you're afraid it might actually be true. And then where will you be? But I'm telling you, it never will be true. Only what you decide is true for you is true. Is this making some sense?
Yes.
Intellectually?
I appreciate the reminder.
Oh, all right. Now, where do you want to go with this from here?
I want to go from here because in preparation for coming to this event, I had communicated to you telepathically.
Yes.
And asked you to help me discover my blocks from living my fullest potential.
And what am I doing?
Well, no, last night you came to me in my dreams.
Yes.
And I wanted to know what we were doing.
This.
We were doing this.
More of this.
More of this work.
Yes.
Okay, so can you specifically illuminate for me my soul's agreement and purpose in life?
Obviously, this is one of the things you have decided to learn. Your self-worth. In the face of opposing opinions. Are you going to believe in the truth that is you, or are you going to believe in someone else's truth that has nothing to do with you? Which do you prefer?
I believe in my truth.
All right. Then you can continue to choose to do so. And anytime you find yourself feeling fearful about what someone else is saying about you or reacting to someone else's communication at you, understand that's another opportunity to feel your self-worth and believe in yourself, and understand that many times when someone comes up to you and says something that seems like an attack on you, what they're actually telling you is they have the same fear. And they're just projecting it on you to give you an opportunity to decide whether it's true for you. And what you can then do is be big enough to hold a space to allow them to find out whether it really needs to continue to be true for them, by loving them back for showing you an opportunity to love yourself more. You see?
So exciting. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate so much, so many things, but, sorry, I get annoyed real quick.
I love and appreciate so many things, but my guidance system works when I focus on things that are not valuable to me or not of value to me. Next.
Yeah, but a lot of that is people. And I know we need people. I need people. I guess I want to know, how do I get out of that, over that?
Well, you're really going to like this eventually. So it's a big world out there full of all kinds of variety, things wanted and unwanted, and that you have the ability to tune yourself to a frequency that causes you to attract or allow. In other words, attraction is about a desire and an allowing of that desire. And so whether we're talking about the world at large, or really the universe at large, or whether we're talking about one person at large, each person is a microcosm of the whole thing. Within every particle of the universe there is wanted and unwanted, which means within every human there are those things that you want to attract and those things that you don't want to attract. So our question to you is, what have you got going on vibrationally that causes you to attract things in other people that you don't want?
That's what I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter specifically what it is, but it is helpful for you to acknowledge that this is me doing this to me, not you asserting that to me.
I do know that.
Well, then why are we having this conversation?
Well,
because if you really did know that, your conversation would have gone like this: Abraham, I have not yet figured out how to tune myself precisely, and therefore in my sloppy offering a vibration, I am in a sloppy way attracting things that I don't want from others. What should I do? And we say, tune it up. Because the other option that humans want to be the answer is teach them to be different. Teach them to offer only things I want. That's the only thing that's not good for you about a cruise like this.
I know. Well,
It
sometimes
will spoil you.
I would just avoid everyone, but that doesn't work.
The thing about that is, because in every particle of the universe is wanted and unwanted, if you avoid it, but here's the thing, we want you to avoid it too. We want you to avoid it by tuning to what you do want. There's no exclusion. When you say no to something, when you try to avoid that, you're actually activating it more. When you go to another place, you take your vibrating you with you, and then it shows up over there, and then you go to another place. So you're always on the run. Always on the run. I'm avoiding you. Where are you going? 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 To bed. I'm so tired from avoiding.
Can you give me just a tip that said, just say, here comes someone, and what should I?
Here's the thing. Tuning before is what we call pre-paving. So meditation will help you, because meditation will put you in sync with your inner being. And when you're really in sync with your inner being, you won't feel that way about anybody. Your inner being finds the best, only sees the best, only vibrates with the best of everyone. We're not playing with you in this way to make you feel bad, because everyone does it. But it's such an important thing to know that the freedom from the negativity that you seek is all within your own ability to focus. And doing it before you walk into the room is much better than getting in there and then trying to do it. Because if you wait till you get in there and the momentum's already underway, then it really is an exercise of action, and then an exercise of avoidance, and then you don't accomplish it, and you just repeat the cycle again and again and again. Think about most people, everyone wants to feel good, and it does feel good when you are in agreement with your inner being, and therefore you translate that to believe erroneously that it feels good to be in agreement with others. And so most humans spend their whole life trying to get agreement from others, and it's so exhausting. Don't you find yourself in conversation wanting people to agree with you? And when they do, you feel so satisfied. And don't you waste so many hours of conversation trying to get them to understand you, to get you to agree with you? And it's ever so much more pleasant to just come into sync with who you are. Then it's not urgent, you see, because what you're wanting to do is fill that void, and the void can only be filled with the alignment that your inner being offers. And once you've got that alignment, then you can offer it to others, but don't look to get it from them.
Okay. I'm going to have to, I don't want to say work on it, but work on it.
Well, it's nice that you know that it matters to you, and pre-paving really is the key. Segment intending means realize you're walking into a new segment, and set your intentions softly and be gentle about it, and acknowledge things like you're getting better and better at it. Don't you find yourself, because you are a keen observer and you're also very insightful, you have empathy in that you read vibrations, you're sort of like an open, ready to receive being who wants to be a little more discriminating about what you want to receive. It would be like being a tuner on a radio that isn't finely set, so when you turn it on you just get static, and it doesn't really matter how you turn the knob, you just get mostly a combination of everything. You're not tuning finely enough to really hear something come through clear. And so isn't it nice that you know when you're not doing that, and won't it feel satisfying when you do that? So the same thing that makes you a keen appreciator, and you are, is also the other end of that stick. When you're a keen appreciator, Esther's been saying to herself and to others, anybody who's around really, I'm becoming, or I have become, a vibrational snob, which means I like feeling good, which means I got to tune myself, because controlling others isn't possible. Sometimes Esther teases that it's something that she maybe should put on that form you sign when you're coming to one of these gatherings. I understand that I can't go back, and that once I accomplish vibrational alignment with who I really am, I won't be happy if I'm not in alignment with who I really am. I will be more sensitive, and that's what's happened to you. you're more sensitive to that vibration that isn't finely tuned. So you begin acknowledging, I want to be more sharply tuned with my inner being. And the other thing that we want you to remember is that every subject is really two subjects, and so that appreciation that you are on the other end of that is finding fault. And the sharper you refine your ability to appreciate, the sharper you're refining your ability to see the other end of it. So it becomes more and more important for you to pay attention to which end you are focused upon. Yes? Does that make sense to you?
Yes, yes.
And doesn't it let you off the hook a little bit?
It sure does.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everybody here.
Well, they're nice.
It wasn't these guys. And you.
This crowd is easy.
This is great.
This crowd is easy. They will spoil you. They will make you ill-prepared to go out into the real world.
I'm ready. Thank you.